Thanks everyone for the opportunity. I am Anu Shultes. I've been in consumer financial services for 35 years. My core competency is consumers, lending. I've done the gamut of lending products in the US. And also I've been GM and former CEO of a lending company. DashAi is the first time I'm actually handling auto business. If I can just remind, have you think about what was your last auto purchase experience like? If it wasn't a Tesla and if it wasn't from Carvana, most likely you spent potentially 6 hours at a dealership. And so what DashAi is doing is we're transforming automotive retail. Our product is a vertical AI SaaS for auto dealerships in the US. So as I mentioned, the car buying process is totally broken in the US. On the one hand, as a consumer, it takes too long to get out, and 60% of buyers almost think that they didn't get the best deal. From a dealership perspective, it is not a great process. What you don't see in the background, why it takes 6 hours, is that they are dealing with anywhere from 5 to 8 different software that don't talk to each other. They're having you fill out forms, and then they're doing manual data entry in the back. And the final decision of what loan you get is made by either a desking officer or an F&I manager. That person is manually deciding what loan to give you, right? Despite all this data, the final, most important step is manual. So the result of this is that everyone's unhappy with the transaction. The auto market is very large. It's 1.64 trillion. And dealerships on average spend $50,000 per location per month. And we think that we can actually capture about 500 million of that. So what we already have in market, we went live, very exciting this week. I actually came back from Nebraska this morning. We went live at a dealership location with phase 1, which is the workflow integration from the customer coming in to look at cars to when the customer is driving off with the dealership, right? That's phase 1. Basically integrating the entire workflow and the data flow for the dealership. And the outcome here is that we actually showed that we can reduce transaction time by up to 50%. Phase 2 will happen later this year, which is we'll build an AI recommendation engine, which will automate the financing function as well. So this is just a pictorial of all the stuff that the finance manager is looking at before he gives you a deal. Our core customer is a dealership that has 6 to 8 plus locations, and they sell about 100 cars a month. We expect to charge $2,500 per month per location, and with a path to profitability in 2027. From a competitive perspective, we are the only software that integrates the entire workflow. We look at all these different software not as competition, but we be connected to all of them when we're done, getting to the tipping point in the marketplace. Like I said, we have traction. We have a major US dealership with 9 locations with a multi-year contract. We went live with phase 1 this week. And we also have strong signals on product market fit. Not just from this dealership, but also word of mouth and other large public dealership networks. And from a funding perspective, I'm closing out my pre-seed round.
Thank you, Anna. Your time is up. Judges, any questions?
One quick question. So when you find a customer, how long does it take to onboard them, your integration process?
So the first one took us about 3 months. Right? So we still have, I would say, a couple more months of work with them to really get the AI engine, the AI recommendation engine. But there's only about 20 different software that exist for the auto industry in the US. In launching the very first location, not even the 9, we already connected to 8 of them. So I expect sometime by the end of next year, we'll be connected to majority of software that serve the US auto industry. And so at that point, onboarding new dealerships should be much shorter. So I would say a 10 location dealership could be done in probably 4 to 6 weeks. But the implementation also includes in-person training. So I personally went and trained the 15 salespeople on how to use the product, and the feedback was phenomenally positive.
I have a related question. How long does it take to actually land a customer? How long is the sales cycle?
So the first sales cycle, it took us about 3 months. And this was before we had the product. We just had the Figma, So it was really through networking and spending time at dealerships. Just a quick background on how I found the problem. I found the problem by spending time at the back office for dealerships. I just spent time sitting with them. And so the next step, as far as where do we go from here, right? Go to market is, we expect the current dealership will actually introduce us to probably all of the dealerships in Nebraska. I'm also talking to 2 very senior executives from the auto industry, not necessarily dealership, but some of the other companies who have reach into 1,500 locations. So I'm going to bring them on as advisors, and we will be selling them. It'll be like more of a warm sale as opposed to a cold call.